make it happen.
We can definitely make it happen.
You on the zone, man.
Yo, y'all do all this, but y'all don't really want to fight.
Can we do it right here on the zone?
Yo, we can do it anywhere.
You here?
We can do it ESPN, the zone, don't matter.
Anywhere.
It don't matter.
We right here.
Yo, y'all definitely be on that, man.
When you finish with Camboso,
y'all hold that belt. I'm surprised y'all ain't bring it today. I'm surprised y'all ain't bring it
fucking
today.
January. Let's do that.
Are we gonna fight
Right back to back.
On the zone. Are we gonna fight in the zone?
Yo, I'm definitely on, man. I eat shit, bro. I eat you. I'm hungry. I eat my hands. I use my hands.
Are we doing it?
I use I just want to let them know what I'm all about. I just want to know what's up. You don't want to do it.
It was all good just a week ago. Chris Algieri says, despite Teofimo kind of being hit or miss, hot and cold in his fights, he still would pick Teofimo Lopez to defeat Devin Haney if they are to fight. Wow. In a brand new interview with Pro Box TV, one of the hosts, Chris Algieri, he weighed in. You guys heard the clips at the beginning, and he basically illustrated a known pattern with Teofimo, how Teofimo Lopez is inconsistent. He says when he's hot, he's molten lava. He's real hot and he gets the job done and he looks impressive. However, Teofimo has random fights where he, in the eyes of many, he's underperforming. Regardless of all that, Chris Algieri believes that Teofimo would beat Devin Haney. Now, I haven't thought about it too much. I told you on my channel, I don't give predictions unless there's a signed fight, because that would be a waste of my time. You know, what's the point? I mean, I could just sit around at home in my studio and think of 1,000 hypothetical and fantasy fights. And what if this person fought this person? I don't choose to live my life like that. So if we don't have any inclination that there's actually a fight, then truthfully, I'd rather just wait or, you know, speak on the fights that are done. But I agree with the assessment that Teofimo is inconsistent. In fact, on my channel, I've told you that as well. I think Teofimo, it's weird. He almost fights to the competition level, right? If he's in there with the Vasyl Lomachenko, a guy that some people think was going to beat him. If he's in there with the Josh Taylor, another guy that people thought, I actually picked Teofimo to beat Lomachenko, but I picked Josh Taylor to beat Teofimo, and I was wrong in that prediction. But both of those were very good performances. It's when you have Teofimo versus Steve Claggett or Jermaine Ortiz or Sandor Martin, right? George Kambosos, these other kind of middle of the road guys that are making names for themselves or not that known, and people think that Teofimo is superior to them. Like, man, this guy beat Josh Taylor, he beat Lomachenko. You would just assume that he would beat George Kambosos because you rate Lomachenko higher than you rate Kambosos. And it's not about a bunch of triangle theories, but Lomachenko later would fight George Kambosos and become the first to stop him. So I feel like conventional wisdom, it makes sense to favor or look at Teofimo like, hey, if he's capable of beating Lomachenko, then I would favor him versus Sandor or Kambosos. And that is where you would be wrong. That is where you would be wrong with Teofimo Lopez, because at the end of the day, you have Teofimo, and those are some of the performances where he actually struggles. But regarding Devin Haney, I told you guys immediately after the fight with Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney's stock has fell from grace. And now people are questioning Devin's legitimacy, you know, as far as what they regarded him. Is he that good? Because of all of what happened on April 20th with Ryan Garcia. And I told you that Devin's in between a rock and a hard place. And you've seen it. Now you're hearing industry professionals who have previously complimented. I remember Chris Algieri was complimenting Devin when he beat Regis Prograis because his performance warranted that. But based on that Ryan Garcia, I think it's just left a sour taste in people's mouth. And, you know, the Haneyacks could talk about the Ryan coming in overweight or talk about the Osterine, but it sounds like a lot of pugilists, former fighters, trainers, boxing fans, etc., they're not buying it, and they still believe that too many vulnerabilities were shown, and it doesn't sound like they're real confident. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Devin Haney's next move is besides suing Ryan Garcia and Golden Boy, because his stock has taken a major hit, and literally there's no way to fix it outside of getting back in the ring with high caliber, elite level fighters and, you know, righting those wrongs or having strong performances. So I do think that Teofimo, even though I don't do fight predictions for fights that really aren't confirmed or looking in the direction of happening, I think Teofimo, like I said this with a bunch of fighters, Teofimo has the ability. Like boxing, I'm trying to tell you guys, it is a fickle sport. 1 minute, from moment to moment, things change. Timing is everything. Like you could watch William Zepeda and then you look at his last fight, let's say his last couple fights with Maxie Hughes, and you're like, oh, okay, he beat Shakur Stevenson. I'm not saying this is my opinion. I'm just giving you guys an example. Some people were like, oh, Zepeda, he'll beat Shakur. He's too much for him. But then you see him getting dropped by Tevin Farmer over the weekend. He's not even a big puncher. He's a skilled, good fighter, but he's not known for brute force and power. And I thought Tevin Farmer should have won the fight. Now, some of the people who had all this faith in William Zepeda, they don't feel so confident in Zepeda to beat Shakur Stevenson and his style, because that was kind of a tune-up, is expected to be a precursor to a Shakur Stevenson fight with a American style, with some defense. And, you know, he came up short in my view. He came up pretty short. So all in all, I think that boxing is, you got to ask when they're about to fight, you know, because timing does matter. And I think Devin is just in the phase where people aren't over that Ryan Garcia performance and what happened and everything that transpired there. So the confidence in his ability is not high. He was not defending the left hook. He was hurt multiple times. And sometimes when guys get battered and beat up, their confidence is never the same. They don't ever recover. You know, you can bring up Osterine and this. We've seen it. Guys like Meldrick Taylor. I mean, can you really say he was the same as before the Julio Cesar Chavez fight, right? You look at Bermain Stavern after the Wilder fights, you know, was he really the same fighter? Because he was a champion before the Wilder fight, right? So we've seen this time and time again with fighters where once they take that loss, like you look at Victor Ortiz, he showed a lot of promise, but then he started quitting in fights. And once quitting is real bad, because once you open the floodgate to that, you've already found a way out in the Maidana fight. So who cares if you find a way out in the Berto rematch or the Luis Collazo fight or the Floyd Mayweather fight, because you've already opened Pandora's box. So all in all, I will be interested to see what is decided and who Devin selects for his next opponent. Teofimo and others, I think, are very difficult because Teo is athletic with power and he has some good footwork and he's never been stopped. So Devin Haney hasn't had a knockout, I believe, in like 5 years. So coming off the Ryan Garcia performance, I don't think that he would knock out Teofimo Lopez, right? So that means he has to outbox him. And again, there's just tape out with the Ryan Garcia shenanigans. And Teofimo and his dad obviously would study that fight and try to capitalize it. And Teofimo does have good hooks. So, you know, let me know what you guys think of Chris Algieri picking Teofimo. Who would you favor? Crazy how boxing works, because I remember a couple years ago, people were saying Teofimo was ducking Devin Haney and that he had no chance versus Devin Haney. Now you have sports analysts, and they're going the other direction, saying that Devin Haney won't beat Teo. And Teo, for the record, didn't even look great in his last fight with Steve Claggett. Food for thought.